In our last episode, we attempted to do a little bit of good in Agua Verde. This time around, we leave Agua Verde behind and have some pretty great sailing as we work our way farther north into the Sea of Cortez. Good morning. Well, we're still here in Agua Verde. We've been here for a handful of days and it's been pretty fun. But we're just about to get out of here. Brenda and Ken are off on a little hike, and once they're back, I think we're going to pull up the anchor and get moving because there's a little breeze coming. But there's been a whole lot of activity outside this morning. A ton. It's been going on for like an hour. You should come see it. It's pretty cool. Right next to our little floating home, this big bunch of mobile arrays were having quite a busy morning. After the entertainment from the mobile arrays was over, and after Brenda and Ken finished up a little hike, it was time for us to get out of here. There goes Agua Verde behind us, and that was a great stop. That was really fun. Gave out about 250 pairs of glasses. A lot of happy people, and we kind of like that. Today we're moving north. We don't exactly know where yet. There's a couple of anchorages we got in mind, but I gotta tell you, the sailing today is great. If it were like this every day, everybody would be sailing. Unfortunately, it's not. So we got about 12 to 15 knots right on the beam. We're doing about 6 knots, and there is zero swell. It is flat. That's great. Makes for some pretty comfortable sailing. So hopefully this keeps up. We're gonna keep pushing on. Just ride this little wind north. This was actually unforecasted. We were planning on staying another day there, but take the wind when I get it. Onward. Well, we got a good news, bad news situation going on. Ken and Sebastian are both flying solo, so generally we get the jump on them out of an anchorage. There's 2 of us, so we get this boat going a little bit faster. But they're out here. That's the good news. They're finally moving. The bad news is Sebastian's getting a little bit bigger. That's not good for my ego. He's on a trimaran, which is perfect for these kind of conditions. It's a little, well, the wind's shifted a little bit, so it's a little after the beam. It's not the fastest point of sail for us, but for him, he's cooking. We're still doing about 6 knots. He's doing about 7.5. It's a good thing we left early.
with Sebastian looking like he'd pass us just about any minute, and my old friend Ken all of a sudden right on our tail flying his chute. It was time for us to bring out the big guns. Because if there's one thing this boat doesn't like, it's being passed. After a day of some pretty great sailing, thanks to our stripe and our chute, we made it to this place. And luckily for my ego, we got here first.
Well, we just made it to Villa de Candeleros and had a great sail getting here. It was pretty close at the end, but we still were the first to get here. Can't mess with a racing stripe. But this place is, it's sort of strange. I haven't really figured it out or wrapped my head around it. For the last couple of weeks, we've been working our way north up the Sea of Cortez, and most of the anchorages we've been in have either been totally remote, desolate, gorgeous places, but no sign of life around. We've had a few stops at some fishing villages, fishing towns, but they've been small, dusty little places with not a lot of people. This place is different. There's a huge resort on shore. Huge. And it's in the middle of nowhere. But this bay is gorgeous, and I see why people want to come here. One of the cool things when we pulled in, one of our old friends is anchored right here. So it's always kind of cool to just pull into a random anchorage and see old friends. It's great. And they're not even on a sailboat. They got a big power boat. Takes all kinds out here. And generally people are pretty great everywhere you go. So we're actually going to get ourselves together in a little bit. Head over there, hang out, catch up. See ya.
Thanks to a changing forecast that promised us some uncomfortable weather, rather than stick around this place, the next morning we were out of there and headed somewhere where we could comfortably ride out a big old blow.
Well, we just made it to Puerto Escondido. This was only about a 7-mile hop from last night, so pretty quick and easy. We didn't even bother pulling the dinghy up. That's how easy. We are actually going to probably be here for a night or two because there's a big blow coming and it's going to be swirling around. It's supposed to start out from the north, then come from the west, then the east, then the south. Everywhere! And it's going to be big! So we're going to hang out here for a couple of days till this sort of fizzles out. This place here, Puerto Escondido, is considered one of the best protected anchorages on the entire Baja. But it's not really an anchorage anymore. It's a big mooring field. So you used to be able to just come in here and anchor your boat. Not anymore. You pay for a mooring buoy. But with those mooring buoys, you get a swimming pool. That's pretty good. So we're gonna hang out here, enjoy ourselves, and wait for this to blow out. But I will tell you, this place is pretty gorgeous. Surrounded by the mountains. Can't beat the view.
And since our dinghy was already in the water, once Ken and Sebastian pulled in, we were not only the welcoming committee who helped you tie up to the mooring buoys, we were also the ones to help you rile up your dog.
It's a ball. It's at a ball. Look at it. Where's the ball?
There you go, to the stick, to the stick.
Are you trying to get the mooring buoy? Get the mooring buoy. You gotta get the mooring buoy. Get it. Get the mooring buoy.
Puerto Escondido is considered to be one of the best all-weather anchorages in the entire Sea of Cortez. With nearly 360 degrees of protection, it's a great place to ride out a big blow. And not only is this place considered a good hurricane hole, it's also one of the few spots on the Baja with an actual marina and dock space, as well as a full-service boatyard. So it's no wonder that so many cruisers choose Puerto Escondido as a place to haul out their boats and store them for hurricane season. And for sailors who like to get out and stretch their legs, it's a pretty great place for that as well, with lots of good hiking way back up in the hills, or just to roam around the empty city streets from the development that was abandoned before it even got started.
How's cooking? What's up, dude? Give me 5. Yeah, buddy.
Hi, kid. Come here. Come here, you cutie pie. Look at you.
Baby! We want the baby! I know. Like, we don't need that. We got this over there.
I know.
He's like looking
Oh, there's
over
something
the-
there in the bucket.
She's got the good stuff.
I know.
The fresh stuff. Come on.
Nope, like, no.
Even though these guys weren't so interested in Brenda's food, a little farther up the road, there was one who was willing to bite.
You're a good
Do you
boy.
think this is the guy you see that? I think he wants food.
He wants to bite you.
I think all the food he could reach, he got.
I know. He got all the tips of everything.
Well, we've been here in Puerto Escondido for a couple of days now, expecting a big blow. But surprise, surprise, there's been nothing. It's been calm as calm could be. So, the one thing we can count on these days is that the weather forecasting, you can't count on it. So we're going to get out of here tomorrow. Tomorrow there's supposed to be a south breeze, so we're going to take it and go a little farther north. But it's been pretty nice here. Pretty pleasant. And they got a pool. Going swimming.
And so, after spending a couple of days in a place that made us feel like we are on a vacation from our vacation, the next morning, we were out of there. And after pulling out of Puerto Escondido and expecting a nice, light southerly breeze, of course we got about 20 knots out of the north. But that's a story for next time.